It's entirely possible that in just a few weeks from now there will be no more Muslims in Bangui and much of the west of Central African Republic.
Muslim families are fleeing Bangui. The situation in the countryside is worsening too. The Seleka militia carry out mass killings of Christians as they flee towards Chad, while the Muslims left behind face the vengeance of the Christian militias.
Torrential rain and mudslides have claimed at least 51 lives in the Burundian capital Bujumbura, and Tunisian counter-terrorism officers have arrested a man wanted in connection with the killing of opposition politician Mohamed Brahmi. For more on this and other stories, we turn to this roundup of news.
At least 51 people perished in Bujumbura in flooding and landslides in a night of torrential rain. The toll is the highest in living memory from a disaster caused by weather conditions. The rain swept away hundreds of homes and cut off roads and power. The areas hardest hit by the landslides and flooding were the poorer parts of the capital, with houses built from mud bricks which did not resist to torrents of water. The government promised food aid and new housing to the victims and said it would bear the cost of burying relatives. Anti-terrorism operations continue in Tunisia. The Interior Minister announced on Sunday the arrest of Ahmed El-Melki, one of the people implicated in the assassination of opposition politician Mohamed Brahmi last July. Nicknamed Somali, the man was caught after security forces surrounded a house near the capital Tunis, where a terrorist group had holed up, according to the Interior Ministry spokesman. Following an exchange of fire, El-Melki and 4 others were arrested. In Côte d'Ivoire, President Alassane Ouattara is making the headlines. Ouattara is reportedly recovering in France after an operation to alleviate pain from a spinal nerve. His office said the president was doing well and would return home after a period of rest. The 72-year-old Ivorian president was elected in December 2010 after a decade of unrest. He has already announced he would stand for re-election in the next vote in October 2015.
The United Nations has capitalized on the lull in fighting to evacuate more civilians from the besieged Syrian city of Homs, although the warring parties had agreed to hold their fire for the duration of the evacuation. United Nations officials and the evacuees suddenly came under mortar and small arms fire during the process. Syrian government negotiators and their opposition counterparts, as we hear in this report, have commenced a second round of peace talks in Switzerland.
Syrian ceasefire ended 3 days ago. United Nations workers managed to bring another group of civilians out of the besieged old city of Homs on Sunday. A reported 611 people, including 210 women and 180 children, were evacuated. Some were taken out in UN vehicles and others on foot through a corridor of jeeps for safety. People were terrified as snipers fired shots and mortars were launched, killing several people and wounding others. The Assad regime and rebel groups each blame the other for the fire. It has been impossible to obtain eyewitness accounts on those evacuated. There is information furnished by the UN coordinator about the humanitarian operation itself, especially on the distribution of food to the 2,000 or so people remaining.
When I look around and see the level of need and the suffering of the people, especially the children, women, and elderly, let me say that even though it's a significant amount of medical and nutritional aid, it's still just a drop in the bucket.
This intense effort to save civilians came as talks in Geneva were relaunched by the UN mediator. The two sides in Syria still disagree on whether to include Bashar al-Assad in a transition government. Sensing another political shutdown, the French foreign minister called for more intense humanitarian activity.
Well, we now take our second break. Welcome back, and before we take leave of you, a quick reminder of our stories making headlines. Lawmakers have been visiting health facilities in rural Gambia to arm themselves with up-to-date information on the state of affairs. Works, Construction, Infrastructure and Transport Minister Balagaba Jahumpa has been inspecting ongoing road construction works in Banjul, funded by government to the tune of over $210 million. Mortar rounds and bullets have been raining on civilians living the besieged Syrian city of Homs, killing a number of them. And the 72-year-old Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara is recuperating in a Paris hospital after an operation. Well, that's all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Until then, I am Fatou Janembai, and good night.
Of the Republic, the party leader and the APRC party presents Peace and Love Extravaganza on Valentine's Day, the night of love, the night to share with all loved ones with the megastar, Juliba Kuyate. Come and share these moments with the first couple and your loved ones. The Grand Gala event at the Senegambia Beach Hotel. Sapphire tables, platinum table, $50,000, and the individual, $1,200. It becomes more interesting with top-notch artist lineup featuring Buddy Bunka, Broke, Kabakel, Sheafal, Amidiba from the United States of A, and the two comet attractions, APRC Peace and the Love Gala this Valentine. The party for all, proudly sponsored by Gam Petroleum, GNPC, QCell, SSHC, GPA. For reservations, please call 991-9744 or 331-9744. Make it a date. Happy Valentine to you all.
More than $3.5 million was giving out with the AfriSoul Daily Crazy Cash in 2013.